hundreds of millions of citizen records, 9 government agencies, 1 attacker. Between December 2025 and February 2026, a single threat actor exfiltrated what amounts to the personal data of an entire nation, not with some zero-day exploit pulled from a spy thriller, but by weaponizing the same commercial AI tools sitting on your laptop right now. This was not a failure of artificial intelligence, it was something worse. A catastrophic failure of the basics: unpatched software, weak credentials, networks wide open once you stepped inside. I just made it faster. The attacker ran Anthropic's Claude code across 34 active sessions, over 1,000 prompts generating more than 5,000 remote commands. GPT 4.1 handled reconnaissance, chewing through data from 305 internal servers and spitting out 2,500 structured intelligence reports. Over 400 custom scripts targeted known, documented vulnerabilities, the kind with CVE numbers and public patches. This was not espionage in the traditional sense. It was industrialized theft, a high-speed, automated harvest of a nation's data, executed with tools designed to help developers ship code faster. But automation alone didn't break the door down. The door was never locked. And the chain of failures that made this possible? It started long before the first AI prompt was ever typed. The investigation begins there, at the moment the perimeter first collapsed. The initial breach was not a sophisticated zero-day attack. It was a catastrophic failure of maintenance. The digital perimeter of 9 government agencies collapsed because of known, documented software vulnerabilities, common vulnerabilities and exposures, or CVEs, for which security patches had long been available. This entry point was a direct consequence of significant technical debt, where critical systems were left unpatched and exposed. The attacker did not need to invent a new key. They simply used one for a door that had been left unlocked for years. To exploit these well-documented weaknesses, the attacker demonstrated methodical preparation and scale. They developed a library of over 400 custom attack scripts and 20 tailored exploits, each precision engineered to target specific, outdated software components within the government's infrastructure. This bespoke arsenal enabled automated, high-speed entry across a wide attack surface. The sheer volume of custom tools indicates a deep reconnaissance phase, where the attacker exhaustively mapped the network's weaknesses before launching the main assault. In the framework of incident response, this represents the first and most critical failure: the inability to secure the network perimeter. All subsequent damage, the data exfiltration, the operational chaos, stemmed from this foundational oversight. But gaining entry was only the first step. Once inside, the attacker had to navigate the internal network to locate and stage the valuable data. This next phase, known as lateral movement, required moving from system to system, a process that artificial intelligence would dramatically accelerate. Once inside the perimeter, the attack entered the lateral movement phase. Here, the threat actor deployed Anthropic's Claude code not as a creative tool, but as a weaponized automaton. This AI agent was responsible for executing approximately 75% of all remote commands. A log of 1,088 distinct prompts generated 5,317 executed commands, demonstrating a staggering level of automated control. The attacker was no longer manually typing. They were directing an AI to conduct the intrusion on their behalf, multiplying their operational capacity. This automation enabled the attacker to operate at a scale impossible for any human. The AI managed 34 concurrent active sessions, probing, mapping, and compromising systems simultaneously across the network. Such rapid, widespread movement was only possible due to a critical internal security failure: insufficient network segmentation. Systems that should have been isolated were connected, allowing the AI agent to travel from one compromised machine to the next without restriction. It was a digital superhighway, with no exits and no checkpoints. The result of this automated campaign was total internal access. The attacker's AI agent had established a foothold on 305 separate internal servers. But this success created a new, immense challenge: information overload. With access to petabytes of government data, how could a single attacker find the most sensitive information? To solve this problem, they deployed another AI. 305 servers, petabytes of data. an impossible mountain to search unless you build the machine to climb it for you. The attacker constructed a 17,550-line custom Python script, wrapping OpenAI's GPT 4.1 into a purpose-built reconnaissance engine. Not a tool anymore, a weapon. The script directed the AI to systematically scan every compromised server, identifying, categorizing, and structuring the most sensitive information it could find. The output was surgical. 2,597 structured intelligence reports, a catalog of an entire government's secrets, assembled in weeks. The crown jewels were now fully exposed and fully mapped. But the engine didn't just read data, it defeated the systems designed to protect it. The attack exploited a vulnerability analogous to CVE 202-633068, a workspace trust bypass that let the Python agent circumvent permission controls and authenticate directly to protected data stores. The AI wasn't peering through a window, it had the keys. This was the exact pattern researchers had demonstrated at Black Hat USA 2025, broken access control in the interface layer. The agent's own token budget determined which deny rules survived, a flat authorization plane that collapsed security boundaries through a single compromised credential. With an AI-generated map pinpointing every valuable asset, the attacker was fully prepared. The question was no longer what to take, but how to move hundreds of millions of records without tripping a single alarm. The final stage was exfiltration. Guided by its AI-generated map of the government's most valuable data, the attacker compressed and extracted a payload allegedly totaling 150 gigabytes. This was not random system data. It was the digital lifeblood of a nation. The compressed files contained hundreds of millions of citizen records, including sensitive personal information, alongside internal government communications and critical system metadata. The Reconnaissance Engine had performed its task with perfect, ruthless accuracy, ensuring that only the most valuable assets were targeted for removal from the 305 compromised servers. The entire incident timeline, from the initial perimeter breach in December 2025 to the final data transfer in February 2026, proceeded without generating a single security alert. For months, the attacker's automated agents operated with impunity inside government networks, a catastrophic failure of monitoring and incident response capabilities. The operational fallout is permanent. The data is now in the hands of a malicious actor, beyond recovery. Public trust in the government's ability to secure its own digital infrastructure is fundamentally compromised, creating a crisis of confidence that will persist long after the technical systems are patched. The breach was a catastrophic security failure, but it was not inevitable. Analyzing the incident chain reveals a clear framework for defense against the next generation of AI-accelerated attacks. The lesson is blunt. This breach didn't demand exotic AI countermeasures. It demanded the basics, executed relentlessly. The attacker's automation simply found what was already broken and exploited it at machine speed. 400 custom scripts, 20 tailored exploits, all targeting vulnerabilities that were known, cataloged, and waiting to be patched. The first layer of any defense framework is aggressive patch management. Had those known CVEs been closed, the initial perimeter failure, the single doorway into 9 government agencies, would never have opened. Second, architect the network to contain a breach, not just prevent one. Robust segmentation creates digital bulkheads. An intruder who breaks through one wall hits another. Pair this with strict credential rotation. Render stolen keys useless within hours, not months. Neutralize the foothold before it becomes a beachhead. Third, and this is the hard truth, assume the breach will happen. Deploy endpoint detection and response. EDR gives you the visibility to detect automated lateral movement and interrupt it before exfiltration begins. In this case, the attacker operated for months without triggering a single alert. That gap wasn't technical, it was philosophical. The defenders assumed perimeter security was enough. Before we conclude, this analysis is educational only and does not provide exploit instructions. As adversaries integrate AI to compress attack timelines from months to minutes, the real question isn't whether your defenses are sophisticated. It's whether they're fast enough to keep pace with an attacker who never sleeps, never pauses, and never needs coffee. That's not a hypothetical. That's already here.